I'm Cherry Smith, and I wanted to give some words of encouragement to my African American brothers and sisters, my own family, my people, my culture. And so I penned this open letter entitled, "We Must Prepare for That." And I want to share it, to offer us some hope and to perhaps calm our nerves during this time of outrage and frustration. To my people, the recent travesty of justice displayed in this atrocious and inhumane act against George Floyd is not the only act of ignorance that is prompted our present outrage. This is a scenario paraded and applauded by many that has gone on far too long. When will enough be enough? And when can weariness be rewarded with rest as dreamed for so long by our ancestors? Over and over again, we watch horrific accounts of people treating our brothers and sisters as if they aren't even human beings. America seems insistent on sustaining an unacceptable level of civility toward people of color, and many times just people at large. And we must be prepared for that. Unfortunately, you and I both know that this won't be the last video we see, and this won't be our last expression of outrage. And we must be prepared for that. Many politicians and leaders speak out all the right words, yet remain silent and actionless to enforce all the right reforms. And we must be prepared for that. By being prepared, I mean we must anticipate what is coming and be ready to face it with the intention of producing an outcome that is best for all involved. When I speak about our African American community being prepared for these atrocities, I'm saying we must be more expectant of them rather than shocked by them. We must allow our preparedness to guide our actions of change, our messages for mitigation, and our rules for reformation. When people like us grow from our injustices and impoverished pasts, it creates hate among those who haven't. But that hate should not be circumvented by our own naivete. We must be prepared for that. Unfortunately, too often we've celebrated without preparation and are expecting an outcome not plausible to such an unrealistic process. History has taught us that learning from a lesson means preparing for a new one yet to come. We, as a people, have grown multidimensionally from our oppression, and our enemy, yet the same, has simply changed its form and in some cases methods. What our nemesis fails to realize is that when people come through devastating measures of oppression, they come out better, and we are better for experiencing such a humiliating and embarrassing period of life and surviving. And when that happens, people fear us. When you start growing in number, in accomplishments, and in contributions, people who own that platform for so long become fearful of losing their control and authority, and we should be prepared for that. It is never too late to prepare something worth conquering that is still ahead. Racism, prejudice, police brutality, unfair economics, isolation, and ostracization, and many other ills remain yet ahead, and we as a people must be prepared for that. Colin Kaepernick kneeled because he was prepared to make a statement, but the world was not prepared for the response of our nation to such a gesture of peace. And we should be prepared for that. While I'd like to believe that people may be inherently good, we can no longer just assume that all are good and that people will do the right thing when confronted. Mankind is depraved, and we must be prepared for that. People are naughty by nature. They are wicked by wellspring, and we must be prepared for that. Until the heart and core of man change, this will be our fight, and not just toward other races, but within our own. We suffer from our own violence toward our own people because we too are imperfect within the imperfection. And while the rest of the world may appear to be wrong, we too are included in this world of conflict, but that with the audacity to hope. Reform for others must be reform for ourselves. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, black supremacy is as dangerous as white supremacy. We must be prepared for that. Our advantage as a people is that we have already proven that we can change. We have proven our adaptability and survivorship by building another man's country while being denied ownership in what we've built. We have proven that we can still thrive in another's culture and be treated inferiorly simply because we have shown our ability to enhance another's culture with significant development. We have proven that we have something to offer. We have proven that we can stand trial and serve our time and then return to the very courtrooms and same judges as attorneys at law, fighting on the good side of justice to keep our own sons and daughters from future sentencings. And yet, to our dismay, it is our own success stories that become the barometer by which people judge us for not being good enough. Not being good enough is often defined as not sticking to tradition. What they are saying is, you're not good enough to stay the same, and we must be prepared for that. What we have, they want, but not without giving us credit for it. Others want to package a new spirit in an old Western way, and we must be prepared for that. When our inventions and ideas and creativity have been taken for granted, we must not be surprised at the backlash. Instead, we must be prepared for that. When we see our cousins, brothers, parents, aunties, and uncles being paddy-wagoned away to a cell of incarceration, some see it as being taken to a different place. But for many of us, we were born incarcerated, and every day of school, work, and play is mere survival, hoping not to hear the church bell toll for another black life. And we must be prepared for that. It's bad enough to know these truths, but now we have to watch them. Streaming deaths of the African American community on social media platforms of free speech, a freedom that all too often hurts and damages just as much as it expresses. We have become a solvent attempted to be dried up. Relentless in hate, those with the better than me mentality strike their heads against an unbreakable rock, not realizing to kill me is to kill themselves. Injustice is wrong that will never be right. And every strike at the rock will yield a reminding reverberation that we are a people with justice on our side. And just as the rock can't be broken, neither can we. And we must be prepared for that. We must prepare by being stronger than those who oppose us, stronger in mind, resolve, intent, courage, fortitude, and forgiveness. Now is not the time to lose objectivity in emotional outrage, though it is completely warranted and understandable. We must take our time to mourn and grieve without hasteful or hateful actions. And when done, we must return to our walls to finish our watch, to fulfill each our calls, and respond to our purpose in the most excellent way we know how. We must be prepared for that. We must prepare by not forsaking education. We must finish high school, learn a second language, return to reading, get our GED, attend a junior college, a city college, or trade school if the university is out of reach. And if that's not attainable, we must be patient to sit around the tables of those who were fortunate to graduate with degrees. We must bend the ears for wisdom of our grandmas and papas, aunties and uncles. Instead of sharing the blunt with them, we must force them to share the brunt with us. We must prepare by becoming teachable again, using our tenacity to approach the learned of specific subjects and asking them for an hour of their time a month, perchance to glean their wisdom, so we too can be prepared for what awaits our next generation. Because the cycle will repeat, and we must be prepared for that. We must prepare by restoring the Black family value. We are insurmountable when unified. We are deprogrammable when properly codified. And we are mysteriously resilient when bloodline missionized. Understanding the importance of multiplicity versus individuality is the key to honing the structure of our Reformation. While our gifts and skills have taken us into great places, it's not long after we realize that even as a celebrity Black man or woman, you have little power as an individual, and it won't be long before the powers that be remind you of that. We, yes, that's it. We, say it. We, yes, say it again. We have been taken advantage of. We have been abused. We have been pillaged. So if we went through it together, we must experience the change together, and we must be prepared for that. We must prepare by understanding the value of every dollar and penny. Preparation is never spending only. Preparing involves receiving as well as giving, and saving as well as investing. A people of depleted funds is a people of dilapidated financial liquidity. We must change course of our currency to the current of our own economic stimulus. It is not that we lack money. Statistics have shown year after year that we have great spending power, but we lack saving power. We lack wisdom, which means we lack preparation. Poverty is the economic prison of our time. Income gives opportunity, but our medicative spending, which we hope to somehow become salve to our wounds, is sending us back to rehabs of enablement, crippling us all the more. And we must be prepared for that. Get a job. Don't spend it all. Put some away, invest some, and give to those in need, then buy what you want. I could go on, but I must urge us that all our preparation must come from a place of love. Love for God, love for ourselves, and love for others. We want change because change for us is change for mankind. We mustn't see our preparation as retaliation with sequel violence and like atrocities. I still believe love is the best response to all ignorance. The difference in riots and retaliation is preparation. And that's what I've come to remind us, that we must be prepared for that. Teach your children what to really expect at school and remind them to be prepared for that. When you go to work and all the top positions are filled by a single race without diversity, there must be something in the pit of your guts that says, I'm prepared for that. I hereby resolve that for every modern day lynching, I will be prepared for that. For every racist gesture and comment, I will be prepared for that. When I see a person pick up a phone to call the police because I'm simply walking down the street, I will be prepared for that. For every act of police brutality, I will be prepared for that. I'm preparing by refusing to let a good old boy's mentality keep me in the ground. We are too brilliant and resilient for that. We are too passionate and creative for that. And the world must not only see our product, skills, gift, and magic, but they must see the preparation that got us here. As it stands now, we clearly aren't being recognized for our total value, and people everywhere see us as less than. But our response to all who oppose us is that we are stronger, we are wiser, and becoming more prepared for these heinous acts of aversion. They should know that for every act of injustice, we as a people will not only feel outraged, but we will feel fuel to multiply our resources, fuel to multiply our businesses, fuel to multiply our faith centers, fuel to multiply our accomplishments, our achievements, and our fight. And for every life taken, another will be born. For every school loan denied, another PhD, MBA, or BA will be rewarded. For every man, woman, boy, or girl incarcerated, we will liberate another from the streets, from drugs and gangs in our community. For every act of godless oppression, we will respond with greater preparation, and they should be prepared for that. To my people and to the deafening silence of the powers that be, my fellow brothers and sisters in the Spirit, we must be prepared for that.